it's Jen. This is another Jen is Zen episode of Reframing Me. In these short bits, I like to give you something to meditate on or journal about. Today, I'd like you to think about this. Do you have a body? Is it summer? Then yes, you have a summer body. So today, can you say, I love my body and mean it? Do you ever really think about your body, like your actual body, not your body shape or how your body fits or looks in clothes, or whether you have thick thighs that rub together when you walk, or saggy boobs that get sweaty in the heat, or banana rolls, or uneven hips, or wrinkly knee skin, or skin color that's too pale or too dark or too red, or that you're too veiny, or too skinny, or too fat, or too tall, or too short? We all think about those things. But do you ever really think about your body and all that there is to love about it? All that your body does for you every single day, no matter how much you hate on it or abuse it with unhealthy foods or too little food or too much alcohol or too much exercise or too little exercise. All that your body continues to do for you every single second, despite how little you appreciate it. Think about what you've done just today. How many times have you had to make your heart beat or your lungs breathe? Your body did that for you. Walking, showering, brushing your teeth, making your coffee, getting up from the chair, working out, drying your hair, reading that paper, seeing your children, hearing their voices, tasting and smelling that coffee. No matter how much we take our body for granted, it lets us do all of those things every single day. No matter how much we criticize and hate it, no matter how ashamed we are of parts of it, it keeps going. Our body is really amazing when you think about it. I will be honest and say that this is something that is really new to me to consider. From about the age of 10, I hated my body. I was too tall and yet somehow also too short. And too fat, always too fat. My hair was boring and straight. My lips were too big. My legs were too fat. I don't think that for honestly, probably over 30 years, I don't think that I could have told you anything that I liked about my body. I would deprive it of food. I would make it over exercise. And still, I never gave it 1 second of appreciation. My body gave me 3 perfect babies. And while I was definitely appreciative and like, wow, that's pretty amazing. Once the wow factor wore off, I was back at it, ready to find every little flaw. I know that I am not alone. Looking at it now, growing up in the 80s and 90s, the cultural standards of what I should look like were absolutely unrealistic and unattainable. Without heroin, at least. I saw a thing the other day that said how a mom had said to her daughter about that Kim Kardashian was considered to be big or fat when she was first out, and the daughter was shocked by this. So, of course, I had to replicate it with my kids, who were equally surprised that she could have ever been thought of as being big or fat. And this is wonderful. I love that for these kids. This generation has so much more body positivity and so much more reasonable standards in some areas, which is awesome because Lord knows that they have enough unreasonable standards of their own to deal with, so they might as well have something good at least. But I think we don't often realize how ingrained these ideas are in our psyches. The ideals of what we should or shouldn't look like, what we should wear, or what we shouldn't wear. Our legs are too big for that. Our boobs are too small for that. We're too old to wear that. We look too sexy in that. We look too frumpy in that. Now, the question is, do you think that your legs are too big or that your boobs are too small or that you're too old or you look too sexy or you look too frumpy or whatever two you want to fill in the blank with? Or do you think that others will think that you're too big or too small or too old or too sexy or too frumpy or too whatever? Because I know for me, now that I've really thought about it, while yes, I do think those things 100%. I am aware that I only think those things because I assume that others will think those things. And I'm guessing that I'm not the only one. So, just to clarify, we are assuming the narrative that some other people may possibly have about our body. And we have allowed that possible story to create how we look at ourselves. Oh, and we care so much about what that potential other person potentially thinks that we choose to deprive ourselves of what we could like or we could think simply because what? This hypothetical person could think something negative about us? I know that I am not the only person who has spent years or possibly a lifetime thinking about myself like this, completely ignoring the amazing things that my body does for me every day. And instead of being appreciative, I've been criticizing it based on a possible narrative of the meanest, most judgmental, hypothetical person's hypothetical thoughts, limiting what I want to wear or what I want to do, or even worse, wearing it or doing it and feeling self conscious about it, all simply because that someone else might not like it? Do we all hear how absolutely ridiculous that sounds when you say it out loud? I look at myself today in a swimsuit and I don't think I love my body. I look at myself in a swimsuit and I think I can totally see that perimenopause belly that everyone's been talking about. I think my hips are so insanely crooked. I think I will never get rid of that banana roll under my right ass cheek. Yes, just the right. Apparently, it's quite uncommon to only have one. It's usually that you have none or two. So I'm not sure if that makes me lucky or unlucky, but it's there and I hate it. I think my trap muscles on my neck are too big. Why are those the primary upper body muscles that build for me? Why not my triceps? I'd like those. I hate it. Cellulite. I see cellulite on my thighs and I hate that too. But did you know that cellulite, it isn't really a condition? Cellulite is not real. Yes, there is the subcutaneous fat and the fibrous tissue underneath your skin. Absolutely. And yes, it does exist on my thighs and on my ass, and possibly on yours too. No gaslighting, that's real. But until 1968, so like 50 some years ago, there was literally no word for it. It wasn't a thing, it just was. And no one was thinking about it as a problem, let alone a problem that needed to be treated. And now we spend millions or billions of dollars trying to treat something that's not a thing, that has no evidence that we could even treat it if it was a thing. In fact, I recently read about the history of cellulite on Refinery 29, and I will say, wow, I was shocked. Cellulite was a medical term written about in the 1800s that had nothing to do with fat or with dimples. Instead, it just referred to inflamed or infected cells or tissue. Yep, that's it. First half of the 1900s in post-war France, there was some serious girl power energy going on because they had traditional gender roles had just gone away when the men went off to war, and now the women became much more self-sufficient. They went to the universities, they took on higher paying jobs. And at the same time, the medical world was evolving and expanding into beauty and wellness. Well, of course, the patriarchy, the good old patriarchy, struggled with this new liberated woman, of course. The only benefit of them was their expendable income. So, how can we kill two birds with one stone? Well, hear me out. What if we created a condition that only affects women, makes them hate their bodies, and makes them spend that disposable income on products to try to fix this new made up condition? And guess what? It's neither actually a condition nor is it treatable. So they'll just spend away and continue to feel bad about their appearance. Pretty awesome, right? Well, just like that, mid 20th century, poof, the term cellulite made a giant leap from its actual medical definition into marketing as a new way to make us criticize our bodies. And the rest is history. I tell you that story because it's a fantastic example of how we've acquired just one of these crazy narratives about how we quote unquote should look. Whether it's insanely bushy eyebrows or heroin chic bodies, sans heroin, or tiny lips or large lips or celluliteless thighs, they've gotten into our heads and we need to let them go. We need to be kinder to our bodies. We need to love our bodies for all of the amazing things that they do for us every single day, despite the way we so often treat them. And it's summer, and you have a body. So, yes, you have a summer body. So enjoy it and wear whatever you want and own it. Thank you so much for listening. Please remember to follow this show so that you don't miss out on any new content. And please share it with your friends who might also benefit from or enjoy the show, because that's how we'll grow our community. Reach out to me on socials, on Instagram and TikTok at Reframing Me. And on Facebook, it's Reframing Me. And join the Facebook group Reframing Me, the podcast community, to connect with other women who are also raising teens and rediscovering themselves. Until next time, be well, communicate, and be kind to your body.